So thank you, David, and thank you all for coming to this session. My name is Ruth Bridger. I'm the VP of Marketing at Xorcom, and we've been part of the Asterisk community since 2004. And what we'd like to demonstrate for you today, first we'll talk about how we see Asterisk being used to improve the quality of life for seniors. And to put you in the mood here, play a little something that I found on YouTube.
Hi there. If you're young and haven't started misplacing things and being absent-minded, don't feel too smug about it because your time is coming. I guarantee it.
You'll never know how much it really bugs you. You'll never know until your brain's impaired. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Forgot what I was going to say. Oh, it's maddening. Tell me why I'm in the kitchen. Now my mission isn't clear. It just disappeared.
So much for that. The idea was to show you that part of aging is also a little bit of memory loss. And so even if we have a rather young audience here, maybe these are things that you can identify with maybe your parents or your grandparents. But also we're talking about dementia and other things that limit people from their function, their usual function. So just a few background slides here, the challenges of old age. And what you see on the screen here is a mapping of countries where over 20% of the population currently is over the age of 65. So you see a lot of Western Europe there, Scandinavia, and Japan. Where in 2050, the world looks a little bit different. So we have what we call an epidemic of aging, okay? People are living longer. And if we look over the course of say the last half century or so, not only is the population at large growing, but the percentage of people living past middle age and well into their 80s and even 90s is also growing very fast. And what that means for senior care is that you have less people on the lower rungs to care for more people that are in the more senior age groups. In this slide, we see a little bit of the challenge from the viewpoint of costs. If we're looking at in 2010, and these are studies that were performed in the United States, that it cost $40,000 a year on average for an assisted living facility, and there were about 39 million people age 65 or older. In 2015, the cost increased to about $51,000 per year, and you can see that the population growth is quite a large rise, where the potential caregivers is growing at a much more slow pace. So the cost of care is increasing greatly. The number of people that will be in the age group where they require care is increasing greatly, while the potential caregivers is roughly static. And what does this mean? Well, when you have increased life expectancies, of course it means that you're going to have more old people, more seniors. And as with any developed civilization, the quality of service needs to improve all the time. On the other side, there's a decrease in care by family members, and this is due to the nature of our societies in the Western world, where we no longer all live in the same family unit, maybe not even in the same town or city. And so as families disperse, the bulk of care for senior citizens is now on outside services. Based on studies in the United States of late, query of senior citizens showed that more than 80% preferred to age in place, meaning stay where they are. They don't want to go to some kind of facility. they want to stay at home. That's also complemented by the fact that there aren't enough facilities. As the population increases, you'll need more facilities, but a lot of these places are not-for-profit, and they're not being built at the pace that's required for seniors. Expenses are increasing in the medical field for care and for all of the equipment and the medications, and there's not enough manpower. So, as veteran developers of Asterisk applications and products for Asterisk, we realize that there is a tremendous opportunity here, and we've created a system that we call Amity. And with this system, which is completely based on Asterisk, we think we found a solution which will allow seniors to live at home longer. It also supports the idea of distributed retirement homes. That means that you don't have to have one facility and all of the equipment in that facility. You can have an administration that can monitor and service populations that are outside of a single facility. One thing that's very popular and growing these days are campuses, where on a single campus you can have single family dwellings for the most independent residents. You can have areas where there are apartments, but each one has a separate entrance. You have a kind of semblance of privacy, but they're more centrally located to the medical resources. And then on that same campus, you would have assisted living facilities where you have 24-hour staff and so forth. So on one widespread campus, you have varying levels of support that you can give to the residents. Some of the components of Amity. Up in the right-hand corner is our server, the Amity server, which is basically an Asterisk-based PBX. We're taking advantage of the fact that we have the knowledge and technology to support IP and hybrid PSTN calls on the same unit and incorporate those into the data network. So we have the PBX, which serves as a control and monitoring system. Take note that there is a funny little antenna there in the front. That's Zigbee. Zigbee is a wireless protocol. It's very low power, which means that it has an extremely long life for the different components of the system, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But the Amity supports a series of sensors or end devices, and these sensors can bring a lot of different kinds of information into the system. One of the biggest problems with seniors, especially those living on their own, is that if they fall, and they do have a tendency to fall, it takes quite a long time to get assistance, not only because they're incapacitated, but for them to be able to reach out and call for help. So one of the types of sensors that we built into the Amity system is a fall detection sensor. It also knows how to give location reporting. So we use, and this can be used to locate not only people that are wandering, but we can use it also in asset management, for example. But I'm going to stick to the senior care market here. You can get information about the room status, the temperature, the ambient lighting, the electrical appliances that are on or off, whether a door is open or closed, movement, fear sensors. Another item that's supported is a panic button. In the lower right-hand corner, you'll see this is a nurse call button. So every standard hospital has one of these buttons, but they can be adapted also for home use. We have sensors showing that the bed is occupied or unoccupied, diaper status, and posture status. If there's another critical issue with the turning of patients in beds to eliminate bed sores, and they need to move, so all of these sensors are located in the components of the Amity system. On the administration side, you get advanced real-time data analysis. You can get early diagnosis. When you have the sensors showing that the patient's positioning, you can even have an indication based on the attitude of the shoulders or the hips, whether the patient is attempting to get up out of bed, and you know, based on his profile, that that's not something that he can accomplish on his own, and you can already get somebody out to check on him. You have real-time alerts, you have database event logging, all kinds of reports, and because the unit is wireless, it's very easy to expand throughout the facilities. And like I say, since it's based on our Asterisk PBX, it includes a full integration with the telephony and the network. In the future, we can continue to add things such as medication reminders. We can have kind of alerts sent out to the patient or the nursing staff that a patient requires his medication. There are dispensers that are automatic in the field, and you can track the status. Did the patient take his medication? If not, you can send an alert, etc. We integrate with room intercoms. We integrate with other medical systems to provide medical telemetry. And like I said, we can also link into the different utilities to issue reports on consumption of power and water. So taking a look at the actual Amity system, you have what's called the coordinator, which is basically the PBX with the Zigbee antenna that coordinates, and it is connected to a series of routers and their end devices. And the end devices include those other items that you saw on the screen, the nurse call button, for example. So the coordinator being the PBX. Here's an example of a router, and this router, by the way, there is one next to the fire alarm system there. I put one up. We're going to be using that in our demo in a bit. The nurse call system is a sample of a device. And Syswatch, this is another application that we're developing. The patient wears it, just gives information like a normal and stylistic watch would, but it includes a panic button, it includes a location indicator, etc. That's another example of an end device. We're talking about the connection to the telephony network, and just like with your Asterisk PBX server, you can connect to mobile phones, analog, IP phones, tracks, cell phones, desk phones, the whole gamut. On the local network side, that's where you would connect in your nurse's station, the manager's station, also to the maintenance control. And of course, you do support the connection to the internet, so you have remote access, remote alerts and services, extensions, and video calls. Say someone's living at home, they prefer to live at home, but they do want to be able to check in with the nurse or doctor once a week. You can establish a video call through the system so that you have that kind of communication as well. So with this nurse call button, there are many nurse call buttons on the market today, and the basic functionality is, okay, I need assistance, I'm going to press the button, some signal is going to go out to the nurse's station. Well, in our Amity device, not only is it called to the nurse's station, but it's basically a two-way signal. You get the feedback, you get, once the nurse answers the call, the unit itself vibrates and a light lights up. So you get immediate feedback that someone has received your call for assistance and is on their way. And like I said before, because it's based on the Zigbee, we do have the locator, so we know who initiated the call and where they're located in the facility. It also has a sensor there to give us an indication of whether the bed is occupied or not. And as I mentioned before, the pre-fall alert based on the posture of the patient. The posture sensor, like I said, to avoid bed sores, to give the pre-fall alert. You can also map different patient behaviors into the system. For example, if you know behaviors of one of the patients is that they're up every morning by 8 o'clock, to go to the bathroom to get their breakfast, whatever, and you see that the bed has remained occupied past the 8 o'clock, then you can get to program in a signal to the Amity so that the nurse's station will already be alerted that there's something to be checked in that room. And the watch, again, it has the fall detection, it has an emergency button, it can give the time and the location, all that information passed directly into the monitoring system. Above and beyond, you have the room sensors. You can have that unit that I showed you over there. It can support various types of sensors. It can act as its own burglar alarm. You program it that you don't want any kind of movement in that room. Maybe it's vacant, and if you get movement there, then that's an alert that something's wrong. You can prevent tenants from wandering, because if you see that there's motion when you know that they're not supposed to leave the room, that's an indicator. You can determine the type of alert, red alert or yellow alert. Yellow alert just kind of a warning, just go and check. And red alert, of course, needs immediate attention. And it can be used for energy saving, like I said. If it's in an unoccupied room, you can make sure that the air conditioning is not on, etc. All kinds of integrations there. As far as the monitoring capabilities, I have here a diagram of a facility. With these motion detectors, you can get signals on the nursing station screen. You can see the layout of the facility. You can see where there's been a red alert, a code blue, where there's a wandering patient. You can get any kind of information from the Zigbee system because it's this router network. It keeps a constant event journal so that you have real-time information about what events were initiated from whom, where, and then have a different screen for any kind of action required and who is on top of it, and then staff status. So it's a whole monitoring and control environment as well for the nursing station. So the Amity works as a virtual retirement village so that you can allow seniors to, what's called age-in-place. They can continue to live as independently as possible in their own homes, knowing that they have backup, that they have someone who is there to assist them the instant that they need it. They have freedom of movement and the familiarity of their surroundings, and yet at any time they can be in touch with the nursing staff. And all of these services can be provided remotely through the system. And what it comes down to is enabling these seniors to live at home longer, saving expenses, providing better quality of care because people do want to remain in their own homes. So I thought seeing is believing. Seeing is the better part of any kind of demonstration. And for the next part, I think you saw I brought in a bed here. And what I need is some geriatric person in the audience. Wait a second. I think we have a volunteer. Hello, Mr. Duffett. Here. How are you? I'll tell you what. Why don't you just come and see if you can make yourself comfortable here? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I was going to ask you for a bed bath.
You're welcome there. I want you to make yourself comfortable. We're happy that you arrived at our facility. And if you need anything, okay?
You have a call?
Call?
Huh? I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay. So you have a little nurse call button here, okay? Can I bring it around to this side? Yeah, you can lie down. That's a good idea. Okay, so if you need anything, you just give me a call. In the meantime, let me explain. We have the router here with the indicators. It's flashing now because it does sense motion in this area. Okay, and then I've given our new patient, Mr. Duffett here, the nurse call button. And although the technology is wireless, you can see that there's a wire. It's a standard when the patient is not allowed to reset his own status. Okay, so someone in attendance has to come in and physically make sure that the patient is okay and reset. So I'll just leave you here to rest.
I want to reset my own status.
No, that's we'll find something else for you to do. So I go back to my nurse's station.
Please proceed to room number 301.
Okay.
Please proceed to room number 301.
All right, the system has alerted me that there is a patient in need. I won't say in distress. There's something here. Mr. Duffett,
Oh,
you call?
I've lost my stick.
You've lost your stick. Okay, I'm going to reset here.
Where's my stick?
Your stick. I'll find it. I'll be right there.
my
Don't
stick.
you worry. Don't you worry. Found it.
That's not it.
I'm just going to put it over here because you don't need to be getting up.
All right.
Okay? Now remember, it's nighttime. Okay? You're going to sleep now. Okay? You're not allowed to get out of your bed. You're not allowed. You need to rest. Okay? Sweet dreams. Good night. Now, of course, he's not going to... Okay, so I had a bed session. Wait a minute. Mr. Duffy.
Has been discovered in room number
Okay.
302.
Now, how did this happen? Yeah. No, I don't know Paul, but I think I'm going to have to call him over. Okay. So under the mattress here, we have a sensor, which is, if you remember it from the presentation, but it recognizes the pressure in the bed. And once Mr. Duffett got off and started his night tour, we got the signal into the nurse's station, and it sent a different message that we now have a wandering patient. Okay? Now, you've had your little exercise for the night, okay? And hope it hasn't got your heart in all a tizzy, and that you'll be able to relax now and finish your night's sleep. So why don't you just relax, okay? And I'll take that again here. Good night. Okay, and we're ready for the last demonstration in this class. I'm doing my nightly tour. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of coughing and carrying on from here. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. So, oh no. I need extra assistance.
Emergency, code blue in room number 301. Emergency, code blue in room number 301.
What?
Emergency, code blue in room number 301.
No, you're good. Okay, so I just called for backup assistance. I got a code blue. Mr. Duffett, that's it. You're well now. You can go look for Paul.
Could we see one more demonstration? We'd really like to see the wet diaper.
So, that's how we do it. We're just, you recognize probably Allison's voice there. It's all integrated right into the Asterisk. And this is definitely a field where we're getting a lot of input because all over the world, the idea of senior care is really taking hold as an area that needs to be looked at. And since we have this existing device, which is fabulous for communication, integrating telephony and the data network, adding these few applications on top, and it's forever expanding. We've been going to various nursing homes all around the world to get input about what their needs are. And the truth is that there are many devices on the market today, and the feedback that we're getting is that the fact that it can be concentrated and managed in one single device, which is the Asterisk PBX, is unbelievably wonderful, because instead of having a nurse alert button here and a motion sensor there and a fire alarm there, to have all of that information in one system with one interface is what these management facilities, or the managers of the assisted living facilities are looking for. So it's an incredibly interesting field. It's going to affect all of us one day, whether we're talking about our parents or ourselves, and it's worth looking into.